Today, talking to the Premier of this province, who's confident that his province is making great strides. And we're unpacking some of those issues with the audience that we have here and also you at home. So keep those tweets coming. I'll put those questions through to him. But we're going to go to table 16 here at this venue to Mokoena Kopano.
Thank you.
Table 16. Where are you, Mokoena? All right.
Thank you, the Honorable Premier and all the leadership here. Mine is simple. That what are your plans about the development of the arts and culture in the province?
You're going to have to speak up a little bit more. Be brave, be bold.
My question is that what are the plans of the Premier in terms of the development of the arts and culture in the province?
Okay.
Because now we see during Makufe time, people who are working in the department has interest on running the projects within the Makufe. So officially, it causes a havoc within the artists in a province. And also, we see that people undermining the good works that artist is doing in terms of embracing the good work that has been done by the Premier in the province. And we also acknowledge your good work that you are more pushing, in fact, you are more pushing in terms of investing in the province. We see changes in the province. But our concern is that the development of arts and culture is not visible yet, and there's a leadership within the Department of Arts and Culture, but the programs are not visible in all towns except Mangaung.
Okay. All right, so what are you doing to develop arts and culture in the province? And he says that there seems to be a focus on developing arts and culture in Mangaung only and not in other areas, and that some of your leadership perhaps might be part of the problem.
Well, as far as I know, because I'm there on the ground, there is a lot of development in terms of artists throughout the province. The MEC is a very young, energetic leader. You can go to the northern part of the Free State, you can go to the eastern Free State, you can come here. Maybe here is because people are closer to where government is. But indeed, there is a lot of development in terms of artists in our province. Maybe we just need to do more. And I know that in partnership also with our municipalities, there are a lot of development on the ground.
Is the MEC here? Arts and Culture. MEC, can you get a microphone? And just identify yourself and just explain give him hope. Give him hope.
Well, my name is Dan Khotule. I'm called the MEC for Sport, Arts and Culture, Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation for now. What is raising? It is a fact that development in terms of programs for arts and culture are not where they're supposed to be. But what makes Mangaung unique and or different is because when we started with our program of revitalizing and resuscitating the arts and theaters in the province, we started with Mangaung Civic Theater. That's why those who watch TV, they will see there's something that is happening every day at the Civic Theater. Even many other productions, including Umoja, it wants to come back. There's one other production that he knows about that is coming in the Free State, which is going to take 80%. It's a national production. It's going to take 80% of the Free Staters. And after that production has run at the Civic Theater for a month, it is going to tour the whole country. Our next phase, we want to go and take over the Oppenheimer Theater in Velkom, which would serve the Lejoliputsa area. Then we go to the theater in Kronstadt in Sasolbeck. So the only reason why Mangaung looks as if it is the one that has many other programs, it is because of this new development. We still had Mabana Arts and Culture Center. There are many other activities that he knows about where he comes from in Sasolbeck, where at the Zamdela Arts Center, we are busy with many other programs. But I understand his point of view, but it's acceptable, and I want to thank him for asking the Premier maybe to consider putting more in arts and culture programs. Thank you very much.
All right, Professor Mthembu, you're on table 28. Professor Mthembu, table 28. Table 28, Professor Mthembu.
Thank you very much. First, I should just, as an educationist, congratulate the Premier, in particular the MEC for Education, for a job well done in education. The Premier has already mentioned a number of programs, the bursary program, which is something that very few provinces do to support young people in higher education, because as you know, higher education and training are the preserve of the national department. But this province goes a long way in supporting. So thank you very much for that. I will ask my question then after this. I hear about the programs or projects, whether it's the dairy farm, whether it's the biofuels project, and so on. But having been a province that's been focusing on mining and agriculture, which are on the wane, what is that single thing that will be the focus of the economy of the Free State, over and above the projects here and there?
Okay, what are you going to build the future economy on?
Well, thanks to Professor Mthembu, I think we are doing well because of Central University of the Free State as well as the University of the Free State. Their partnership and participation in building a better province, I think it's very, very much appreciated. Well, as I say, we can't have solutions to everything. And that's why, as stakeholders, I think last week as the executive, we took a resolution that we need to intensify our engagements with all key necessary economic stakeholders in this province. As you correctly say, Prof, agriculture and mining might be dwindling, and we might actually get into the new economy in terms of solar energy or your energy economy in terms of the future. But all those things will need us to come together and plan together and say, what is it that we are going to do? We don't have easy solutions. And that's why in terms of the National Development Plan, we shall have to engage you and other stakeholders in agriculture and upscale. I think agriculture won't dwindle. If we can come together, it will grow. And mining will also grow in terms of beneficiation of our products. If we can ensure that whatever we produce, agro-processing, is also the future to go, I mean, in this province.
All right. Earlier on, you said that you'd seen significant progress made in your home area around Paris. Morena D. Malinga says people in Qwaqwa are suffering. Premier is only working in cities where he comes from. What do you say to Morena?
I just come from a small town. When we don't do anything in those towns, we are criticized. We are criticized because the roads are so bad in that area. And every investor, everybody, the media, they have said, but your town is not growing, it's not developed. And I don't think we have done a lot there. Qwaqwa, because of the legacy, we have said we are going to focus there. And indeed, we have done so. You can go to Maqheku and go and see it. It's a new suburb in a rural area. You can go to Bloemfontein. I was talking about one-room houses, badly planned, no shops, no schools, nothing. We are addressing those legacy. We were there. We have spent almost a month. All MECs and HODs there. We have done the roads in Bloemfontein, in Lusaka. We are busy now putting a sewer network in Kwakwa. We are going to build a road in Rietpan. We are going to build houses in Boiketlo, in Sidibeng, in Harastunya. We are doing a lot of development in that village. It's just that the way it is so big, like Mangaung here, people don't see any development. That's how apartheid planned that area.
So do you think maybe it's just about communicating better what you're doing?
Maybe it's communicating better. I thought when we are there, everybody even know that we are here, and everybody appreciate. So, but I think this call actually makes us to intensify our communication, intensify our interaction, and we have pleaded. And as government, I think next week we are meeting with all councillors because they are based in their wards. And we can see that gap, and I think will improve. So I think this question might be relevant, and we will actually make sure. And we have said this year will be the year where we focus in Kwakwa, where we focus in Tabanchu, where we focus in Botshabelo.
All right, table number 20. Vusi, is that in Tlakama? Okay.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much, Honorable Premier. Mine might be a bit controversial. Honorable Magashule, you remember when you were still the MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture, you were still grappling with this problem. It's about the Free State Language Policy and the Free State Language Act. As you may know, that Advocate Lawrence did take you to court last year, and the government has been given up to end of March to come up with a Free State Language Act and language policy. How far is the process, Premier? And second to that, we are awarding bursaries, and we as the Pan-South African Language Board in the Free State, we are inundated with learners who are saying you have phased out bursaries for those learners who are interested to study in BA languages. I'm saying this because when we pass the Free State Languages Act and the policy, we are going to need language practitioners. Now, if we don't award them bursaries, where are we going to get these language practitioners? I thank you, Honorable Premier.
Well, if we have such students, I will greatly appreciate and indeed will fund them, because we shall have to ensure that our languages, African languages, because in this province, more than 85% of people are Sotho speakers. So if we have to come with a language policy, that Mr. Botha will be surprised, because it means our official language in the Free State must be Sesotho. And as the ANC in this province, we have debated this, and we have said in the coming financial year, we are going to ensure that in the legislature, we address and speak in Sesotho. It means I must conduct this interview in Sesotho. And people will start realizing. But it makes a lot of sense. If you go to Tanzania, the Tanzanians are speaking their language Swahili. At university level, they make mathematics in Swahili, science in Swahili. So, and that's why in the Western Cape, people will pass, because they are actually doing their mother tongue Afrikaans. So we must change things, and we are happy. We are almost there in terms of the language policy. The Department of Arts and Culture is almost there. I'm one of those who are saying, let's then start actually making and producing our documents in Sesotho, and people will take us very serious.
Okay. Someone called Max Zibbit, 0% fake, says, please ask the Premier about the community development workers who work within his office. Are they resourced to do their work? I'm going to add a bit to that as well. So there's resources on the one hand, and then the other, one of the challenges that we're seeing across government, municipalities, skills for the people to be able to do their jobs. How are you addressing that?
Well, the CDWs, honestly, they are not adequately resourced. And we have been discussing this with the MEC, COGTA, and Human Settlement, Oli, we have been discussing with the DG. We have interacted with our mayors and speakers, and we have indeed said our CDWs are not well-resourced. And we said in this new coming financial year, we need to give them the necessary tools and skills. So we are definitely going to address this issue. I can assure them it's part of our plan moving forward. So we'll be meeting them in the next 3 weeks. I'm deliberately putting all these deadlines so that when people want to measure us, they can actually remind us. But in terms of skills development, I think we need to reskill a lot of our officials. And I can tell you, Peter, I've been reading newspapers yesterday where the artist, Rebecca Malope, and the others were saying it is not usually a certificate which performs the duties. I can tell you can go to a lot of municipalities. You have people who have absolutely no metric. You can go to Ngwatere. And unfortunately, because of the past, those people are white. No metric, but in terms of competence and in terms of performance, I have found that they are doing a sterling job. When it's a black person, it becomes a huge, actually, a very huge thing. I don't understand it. If the same blacks have the same experience accumulated over time, and they can prove that they know what is supposed to be delivered, I will say they are not certificated but educated.
Okay. Table number 30, Moloi L.S. Morena. Table number 30. Okay. And if I could ask you to speak with voice.
Thank you, Peter. Firstly, I would like to congratulate and thank the Premier of the province by really developing our rural areas where the traditional leaders are. Yes, there are, as it was now mentioned, that some places aren't yet developed. But really, I could say, Premier, as the House of Traditional Leaders, you mentioned that we have developed and worked on the PHP houses, which traditional leaders really feel that the respect that they deserved had really bring closer their communities. And we are asking if that process will still proceed in your near future, as you are now taking our Kwakwa and all the rural areas. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks to the leader of our House of Traditional Leaders, Ntate Moloi. Indeed, one of the things which we said we need to do, and I think it relates also to the question asked by Prof. earlier. If we want to develop the province also economically, it means I'm happy that all parties, when I look at their manifestos, they are talking about centralizing the tender system and in a way phasing it out. We have said in this coming year, school uniform must be produced. And this is what I said I'm expecting from MECs. Must be produced by cooperatives, working together with the private sector. School nutrition programs must be produced by cooperatives. And you can see development in these rural areas. If you go to Kwakwa today, if you go to Velkom, if you go to Saswat, in Kwakwa, in a rural area called Kwakwa, there is a game. There is Truets. There are all these big malls are actually starting in rural areas. And that's what President Zuma, when he took over in 2009, he said there will be malls at rural areas, and we are saying, hey, does it make sense? But go to Kwakwa there today and see what government has done in terms of facilitating economic development. Go to Bethlehem and see a new mall which is there. Go to the same Paris, small as it is. There are shops which are not there in other big towns. And it's because government has actually created an conducive environment for investment. Come here to Bloemfontein. These things are not just happening because somebody wake up one day. There's been a lot of engagement between the mayor of Mangaung and the private sector. And you look at Mangaung today and the N8 corridor development, you'll see a lot of development.
All right.
I don't know what else we should do as government, but we'll try and we'll move on. And I think we'll take all the views and criticism. If people criticize them, I think we accept them as a constructive criticism. They might be negative, but we must turn the negatives into the positive and see some reason in what people are actually saying.
All right, okay. I think that's a good point to take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue to explore probably last sort of 30 minutes of this conversation. So make sure that you're a part of that. Get your questions through to us at our tweets. That's hashtag TNA Biz Brief and at Morning Live SABC. All right, we'll see you after this.